So the other day, a company contacted me. They are out of Canada. They are a fragrance inspired by type company. They also do sell originals and also they do sell some fragrance oils as well. Their name is ZOHA Aroma. And so they asked me if they could send me a few fragrances to honestly review. And one of them is a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir, in which I'm going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's get it. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back with another fragrance video. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we get into this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and if you like my content, consider following me on Instagram and TikTok. So I'd greatly appreciate that. So again, about a week and a half ago, a company called ZOHA Aroma out of Canada contacted me on Instagram and said, hey, we have a few fragrances that we would like you to try. If you would let us, we'll send them to you. Just give me your address. We'll send them to you. You can honestly review them, whatever you want to do. And so I get some messages like that a lot. Some of the time they're spam. Some of the time they're legit. I honestly never know. So I do my research. And as soon as I looked them up, I saw Justin Copeland from Stay Fresh definitely reviewed these, and they're inspired by concoctions. Really what they do is they make inspired by fragrances similar to something like Mont Blanc Explorer, which it's inspired by Creed Aventus, where you can tell it has similar DNA, but then it does its own thing. They also sell fragrance oils. Like they sent me a fruity Aventus old batch type oil, which is bomb. I'll talk about that in another video. And then they also have a few originals. So if you're interested in like a cloner inspired by of LAYTON, Side Effect, Aventus, stuff like that, go on their site. Again, it's ZOHA Aroma, ZOHA Aroma.com. And if you also use the code ZOHA15, you get 15% off. I don't get any money from this. I'm not paid by it, not sponsored. Just figured I'd let you know because I did enjoy their fragrances. So they sent me 4 different things. They sent me 2 full bottles, which one of them completely leaked, which I'm not too mad about because it was a clone of Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomade, which is like a rose leather fragrance, which I'm not a big fan of either. The fragrance or those notes. So yeah, that one completely leaked in the package, but it didn't damage the other ones. They sent me a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir, or an inspired by, again, inspired by, I get those confused sometimes, and it is Valor by ZOHA Aroma. So if you can see, they are in these little nice packages as well. It says ZOHA Aroma, it says Valor, Inspired Collection. So this is our inspired concoction, and it is an Eau de Parfum. I wore this for the last 3 days, so I didn't want to do a first impression. I wanted to get my first thoughts on it. They also sent me a Creed Aventus fruity oil, and then also a clone of bitter, or an inspired by of bitter peach, which is called PEACHOULI, which again, I'll also review in another video. So again, this one is Valor by ZOHA Aroma. It is an inspired by concoction of Dior Sauvage Elixir. So it's not a full clone like this, which Lattafa was aiming to try to get almost 100% correct, or 100% close to Dior Sauvage Elixir, which again, they don't 100% get that correct with the Lattafa Asad. They miss out with, they added in cloves, but they missed out on the nutmeg, the deepness, the darkness. They add in a little bit more of the vanilla to give it more sweetness in the dry down, and then so they don't have that uniqueness to it, but it is still really, really, really good. They also do get that beast mode projection really well in the Lattafa Asad. So now we're talking about Valor. So the main notes that you get in Valor are cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, grapefruit, amber, and lavender. I also did sense some vetiver in this fragrance. I think they might have mentioned that on their site. But so when you first spray this on, I sprayed this on the first time just to give it a wear. I wore it for 8 hours. It did last about 7 of those 8 hours, and then it started to completely die down. It's not a huge beast mode fragrance like the original Dior Sauvage Elixir. It's more on the lighter, fresher side. With that said, it actually does it very nicely. The way that they work in the lavender in this, it is more it's not as focused on that ambery fougere aspect, but until you get to the dry down. But in the opening of the original Sauvage Elixir, it's heavier. You get that ambery fougere quality. You get that nutmeg. You get those woody undertones. In this one, it more focuses on this cinnamon, this lightness, this aromatic quality. And it does have that feeling of the Dior Sauvage Elixir. But again, it's inspired by, and so while it does do Sauvage Elixir justice, it is doing its own thing as well. So if the thing that you don't like about Sauvage Elixir is that two spray boldness, that beast mode, that richness in your face, then maybe you should go with something like Valor, because honestly, whenever I sprayed this on, I was like, I could see myself wearing this in probably more occasions than I could see myself wearing the Sauvage Elixir, because it is lighter. My daughter said it's almost like, because she doesn't understand like the genetics of fragrance really, and so she said it's like almost like a watered down version, but also not as heavy and spicy. And I said that's almost exactly correct. It's lighter, it's not as bold, it's more of an above average to moderate projector, but it does stay on your skin a long time. It's very well blended. And then when you get into the dry down, you get those woody notes. You also do get some of that amber and that resinous quality, but again, it's not as deep, it's not as dark, it's not as heavy. So if you do want a lighter version of this Sauvage Elixir, this is actually a beautiful concoction. It's an excellent, amazing recreation of Sauvage Elixir. I am really excited to see what they have coming down the road with this, because, and they even show you the notes on the side. It says on the side that they're the grapefruit, amber, lavender, vetiver. So there is vetiver. I didn't even realize that notes were on the side until right now. But with that said, so they do get the nutmeg in here, correct? So they do not have that black licorice. I did notice that when you get to the dry down, you don't get the black licorice. And in the opening, you do have that nutmeg, but it's also mixed with cinnamon, which gives it a little bit more of like almost like a sweet spiciness. It's still warm, it's still spicy, it still has that aromatic quality, but again, it's not as heavy, it's not as rich, it's not as deep, it's not as dark. I actually quite like this fragrance. I'm just going to spray it one more time on a tester just to get one more sense of the opening of the two. Yeah, right off the bat, you can tell they're both very well blended, and they both have very similar qualities, that ambery fougere quality. So if you don't like Dior Sauvage Elixir, you're not going to like Valor. But this one has, so Sauvage Elixir does, again, right off the opening, it's bolder, it's in your face, it's more of a spiciness. This one is more of an aromatic, fresh, ambery quality. It still has like a fougere feeling to it. It's actually quite nice. So as far as the blend here is concerned, I think that's the best part about this and all of the other ones that I've smelled. So the Aventus, it's almost spot on. The PEACHOULI of Bitter Peach, almost spot on. They are so good. The blends here are very high quality niche, and for the price that you're paying, so the $30 is just unbelievable. Especially I'm really excited to try Layton, Side Effect, stuff like that. But just based on what I'm getting here with the Sauvage Elixir DNA, it is really nice in Valor. I just really hope that you guys want to get your hands on this. And again, it's coming from Canada. The bottles are nice. They have a nice spray. It actually sprays a lot at once. It's not a controlled atomizer, but still really nice. And then they have a nice little tag on the front. So nice customized bottles. So ZOHA Aroma did it really nicely. So again, the differences here, if you're looking for the boldness, the spiciness, the unique quality, you can go with the original Sauvage Elixir. If you're looking for something that does a little bit different of a take, but is closer to a clone, and then has that sweet vanilla in the dry down, more prominent, go with Lattafa Asad. If you're looking for a take on that ambery fougere Dior Sauvage Elixir DNA, but you want it more fresh, you want a little bit of a milder take on it, then go with Valor, and it still stays on your skin. I get about 7 hours of performance on this, 7 to 8. And not only that, it's a moderate to above average projection for the first 4. So ZOHA Aroma did really good on this one. Great job. I need to contact them, let them know they did very well. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in trying these. I know a couple other of my subs have tried these before and said they like them. But look out for my next video coming up. I'm going to be doing a review on the Aventus oil, which they do have a fragrance that mimics that oil. So I'll let you know if that's worthy of pickup. And then also the Bitter Peach clone. I'll do them in the same video. The Bitter Peach inspired by, and it's called PEACHOULI. Really, really nice. And they again have 3 different sizes. They have the small oils. They have the one that the PEACHOULI came in, which is about that big. I think it's about 15 mils. And then they also do have the 3.4 ounce here, which is actually quite nice. So thank you guys very much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another video. Peace out.